Hello, everyone, and welcome to the virtual tour of intentional communities. Here we are for our February 2024 event, and this is an event that we do every month, exploring the diversity of intentional communities that we have in this movement. My name is Cynthia, and I am calling in from a community that I live in Vermont called Headwaters Eco Village. And I have been very fortunate to get to live in this community for several years and have spent more than a decade traveling the world, visiting more than 150 intentional communities of all kinds. And a lot of my work now is helping share about these communities with more people because it's been incredibly valuable for me to get to learn from and live in community. And I'm excited to share a glimpse of that here with you today so that you don't necessarily have to travel yourself, but instead you can get some inspiration and learn from the communities that we have presenting on our virtual tour event. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen and run through a quick presentation. And yeah, hi everyone. I love seeing everyone posting in the comments, sharing where they're from. It's really great that we have so many people watching and listening. All right, so my presentation here. Once again, this is the virtual tour of Intentional Communities event. And I would say this month in particular, we have quite the array of communities. We have some established, some forming, some that have more of a social mission, some that are more urban, rural. So it really is a mix. And I hope that gives you some exposure to the many different types of communities that you could join or that you could help to create. All right, so this event, as of last month, we started hosting on a new platform called StreamYard, and that enables this program to be broadcast on a variety of different platforms, enabling many more people to be able to view and participate. But that said, if you are somebody who registered for the event and you're watching this directly through StreamYard, you have the opportunity to ask questions using the comment feature. And I really encourage you to ask questions, so while you're listening to the presenters, maybe have a notebook, jot down some questions, think of things that you want to learn more about to dig a little deeper, and that'll help us guide the conversation. So feel free to use this comment box to be able to communicate with us. And I would love if you could go ahead and find that comment feature and take a moment to introduce yourself now. I know some of you have already put in your name and where you're calling from. That's amazing. I'd also love to know if you live in an intentional community, which one? And what do you hope to learn or get out of this session? Why did you take the time for this call today? And again, that information will really help me in facilitating our conversation to make sure that you get the most out of this time. All right, so go ahead, find the comment box, start typing in there a little introduction. And while you're doing that, I'll share some other announcements. So firstly, these virtual tours are an event that we've been doing every month for almost 2 years at this point. So there's really a treasure trove of past interviews and conversations with other intentional communities from around the world available on the YouTube channel of the Foundation for Intentional Community. So if you're not already a subscriber, I encourage you to go over there and subscribe to watch past virtual tours and many other great videos about community living. This event, the Virtual Tour of Intentional Communities, is now a co-production of FIC, the Foundation for Intentional Community, which is a fantastic nonprofit organization that's been doing great work to strengthen this network of intentional communities for decades. And also my organization, which is called Community Finders, where we specifically provide education and coaching and support for those on the path to community living. And this event in particular is part of our Community Finders Circle, which is a membership program for those who are looking to join an established community. You can learn more about that at communityfinders.com. And I am very excited to announce that we have a new ongoing membership program for those who want to establish new intentional communities. So the Finders program is for those who want to find a community to join, and our Community Founders program is for early stage founders who are starting new community projects. So you can learn more about that at communityfinders.com/founders. And as I mentioned, the FIC, the Foundation for Intentional Community, is a nonprofit organization helping to produce events like this and many other resources, from the Communities Directory to the bookstore to a variety of other educational programs. And that work is supported by grassroots donations from people who really believe in this work and the power of community to connect us and help to create a more regenerative world. So if you feel inspired to donate, I encourage you to go to ic.org/donate. Okay. And yeah, all right, those are all my little advertisements. Now we'll get ready to hear from today's presenters. So before we do that, take a moment wherever you are right now just to take a deep breath. Let go of anything else that may have happened earlier in your day to prepare to give your full attention to our speakers. Maybe you want to silence phones nearby, grab some water. We're going to be together for a little over an hour. If you want to have a notebook nearby, that can be handy. And just get ready to welcome in today's presenters. And I'm going to queue up our speakers, and I'm just taking a glance right now at the chat box, and oh my goodness, I love seeing everything you've put in. We have Russell from Bend, Oregon, Lori from Muir Common Co-Housing in Davis. We'd love to have Muir Common Co-Housing on the show, Lori, so maybe we can follow up together about that. Other co-housing communities, yeah, Maxwell Creek Co-Housing in Washington. Haven't even heard of that one. Okay, welcome, Heidi. Santa Cruz, Los Angeles, New Orleans. Wow, people from all over. Really big welcome to you all. I'm looking forward to having you with us today. All right, so starting up, we are going to begin with Santa Rosa Creek Commons. And then we'll go to Love and Cherry Community, and then we'll finish with the Second Life Project. And again, these are all very different communities. We're going to start with Santa Rosa Creek Commons, which is an established community in Sonoma County, California. And with us, we have Scout and Sybil. They are going to be presenting about Santa Rosa Creek Commons. So I'll go ahead and unmute you both and give you the floor to share your presentation, and I'll bring that up on the screen as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yeah. Well, welcome everyone to this introduction to Santa Rosa Creek Commons in Santa Rosa, California. We are a limited equity housing cooperative. And my name is Scout Tamiris. I've lived here for a little over 13 years. If you come to our community, this door you will enter, and you'll go right into our laundry lounge. There are 2 washers and 2 dryers that serve 35 people, and there's no schedule and rarely any waiting. It's incredible how many resources can be shared, and that's one of the reasons I live in this community. Just to give you a sense of where we are, you can see California, and we're up here in the North Bay, and the city of Santa Rosa, where the county seat for Sonoma County. Here's an actual photo of our city, and with our property marked out on the lines you see on the screen. We have 3 apartment buildings and a couple of houses in our community. So it's, I'm going to give you a really brief history of the Santa Rosa Creek Commons. The dream started with some folks called Earthquakers in Berkeley, California. Some of them wanted to live in the country, and they formed Monan's Rill, and we formed Santa Rosa Creek Commons near downtown Santa Rosa. The dream became a reality in 1982. We used July the 4th as our anniversary date. We've got 3 two-story apartment buildings, a couple of houses, like I said, on 2 acres of land. Here's a photo of some of our buildings. This is a panoramic, so it's a little bit skewed in terms of perspective, but you're looking straight at building 1. It's taken from building 2, and you see on your left part of just half of building 3. So these are 2-story walk-up apartments. And we also have a house right on Sonoma Avenue, Victorian, built back in 1908. It's a duplex. I lived there for the first 12 years I was here. And we also have just down the street another duplex, the front part of which is our commons room, where until the COVID came along, we used to meet, and probably will do that again in the future. Now we have social events there. We also have on our property things that I love, especially the gardens. We have a labyrinth and a floodplain. Each of us has a carport space. But our pride and joy is our huge central garden. The rows are planted with fava beans right now as a cover crop for the winter. And we grow vegetables that we share in the community, and we also grow lots of flowers to bring in the pollinators, so there's always many friendly bees around. Then we have a quieter garden. We call it the East Garden. There's a big redwood tree there, and a nice place to just stroll or hang out. Then we have what's called the floodplain and the labyrinth. So you can see in the pictures here, we have the wintertime labyrinth, when oxalis grows everywhere on our property, but we keep the path clear on the labyrinth. And after the oxalis dries up, then we have stones marking our property. And yes, it's called a floodplain for a reason, and we're really glad that it's there. Our property backs up to Santa Rosa Creek, which feeds into the laguna and then goes on out to the ocean. So this is a year-round creek, and really nice to have on our property. So I love it here. I have been an officer, I've been president, I've been vice president, I've been secretary, but now I'm mostly just involved in committees, and I'm chairperson of the finance committee. And now I'm going to pass it on to Sybil.
Okay, and Sybil, I think you'll need to unmute yourself.
There we go. Great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. So yes, hello everyone. I'm Sybil Starr, and I have been at Santa Rosa Creek Commons now almost 13 years. It was actually Scout who introduced me to the community all those years ago. At the time, I was part of a group that was attempting to create an intentional community and had been involved in that group for many years, but it just never really came together. And so when I discovered Santa Rosa Creek Commons and how it had been working so well since 1982, I decided to join. And it's just been an absolutely lovely experience. Anyway, I'm going to get more into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of how we operate. We are self-managed and we co-govern together. And how we do this is through a board of directors. All members are on the board of directors and meet monthly for a board meeting where we make decisions based on the consensus process. And we've had many trainings on that, but this has been very successful here as a means of governing. As Scout mentioned, we have officers. She was an officer. They are members of the executive committee. They are members who have volunteered to participate in that way in a leadership role as president, vice president, secretary, and chief financial officer. And Santa Rosa Creek Commons functions so well due to the participation of its members. We couldn't function without that. And we do require 8 hours of work per month to be a member. And that work can be done through a variety of ways. One is work tasks, and which involve the maintenance of the grounds and other tasks. We have a monthly work day where all of the members come together and participate, and also those on the waiting list and applicants may come as well. And then we have committees. Can we go to the next slide, Scott?
Thanks.
Yes, we have committees. And so these are a few members here of the Membership and Marketing Committee, whose job it is to attract new members and guide them through our application process. We have the Buildings and Grounds. There we go, Buildings and Grounds Committee, who takes care of the property and the grounds. We have the Landscape and Garden Committee, who care for the garden, the trees, and certain aspects of the grounds. In total, we have 9 committees, and they really are the lifeblood of our community, and they're strong and they keep us going. All right, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the application process of what it takes to become a member here. So this is our website, the homepage on our website, and you can see there is a link called How to Apply. This tells in great detail how to apply with downloadable pages so that you can have them for an easy reference. And so I'll tell you just a little bit about it. We require applicants to fill out an initial inquiry form and attend an initial interview, and then fill out the application form. And all applicants have a liaison, someone who here at the community on the membership committee who helps guide them through this application process. Then there are a series of events such as board meetings, work days, followed by a stone soup, and committee meetings to attend as part of the process. We have tried to make this process easier for those who are living out of town. So many of our requirements can now be done on Zoom, and the application form can be done online. And applicants have 18 months to complete the process. And then when a unit is available, we notify those that might be interested in that size of unit and have a process of selection. And during this process, there is also a financial vetting, as one must buy a share. We don't buy a unit, you buy a share, and there are 27 units, so 27 shares, and a monthly carrying charge. And this process, as Scout said, is called a limited equity co-op, is explained in more depth as part of the process. And also on the How to Apply link, there is a page with financial facts, which gives more information of what it costs to live here. And we also have an inquiry secretary that you can contact with questions, and her information is on the Contact Us link. All right, Scout, next slide. So our social life. So we are neighbors and friends. We have come to know each other well and have developed deep friendships with many of the other members. And we also have special events. Next slide, Scout. I wonder, okay, there we go. And so we have a social committee that organizes special event gatherings for holidays or birthdays. And then we also just have impromptu gatherings with each other. I think this is a New Year's event. Oh, this is the food from our Christmas party. And here's people gathering together for Thanksgiving. And every year we celebrate July 4th as it is our anniversary. Next slide, Scout. There we go. And you can see here's more of us really enjoying each other's company. We have potlucks frequently. We don't share meals together as a community except through potlucks and special events, but we do gather together quite frequently. We have happy hour on the deck and occasional impromptu gatherings. Many people here ride bicycles, so there's kind of like a bicycle group. Okay. And then I really like this image because I think it really shows a lot about who we are as a community. We have much diversity in our spiritual and philosophical views, but peace is one of our values. And we often gather together in small groups on the floodplain for drumming, for ceremony, for all kinds of events to celebrate one another and just simply different occasions with drumming and meditation. And so we hope you have enjoyed our presentation of our lovely community of Santa Rosa Creek Commons and hope that you will come to visit.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sybil and Scout. That was really lovely. And would you mind mentioning your website, just so people, if they want to find out more?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Santa Rosa Creek Commons.org.
Okay, Santa Rosa. Okay, great. And I will, I'll go ahead and I'll put this into the chat so that everyone can head over to your website. And yeah, thank you. That was a really sweet presentation. Good job. Very clear, well organized. And I like that slide at the end about your value around peace. And we do have some questions. So I'll just jump into the questions as I see them. One question is, if 8 hours per month are required, is there a tracking process? How do you track to make sure people are doing their 8 hours, or maybe you don't? It's the honor system.
I'll answer that. It is the honor system.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, 8 hours a month is the minimum. Many people spend much more than that. I know when I was president, it was more like 8 hours a week. But it varies from time to time. And yes, it's not the honor system.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and it sounds like that's working well for you. Like people are more so doing more versus less of the 8 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then at present time, how much is the cost to buy into the community?
I can answer that. It varies. It varies on many factors, one of them being the square footage of the unit. And Scout, you're on the finance committee. Maybe you actually could answer that a little better.
Well, yeah. So we have studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and a couple of 3-bedroom units. And so since we do calculate a value each year based on square foot, it is the square foot of the unit you're currently occupying. And that can range, the buy-in can range from $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000, depending on the size of the unit and the time you join.
Right. And I would also recommend, if you're interested, to go to that link, how to apply, because it has the most current information on that sheet. It lists the monthly carrying charge as well as the buy-in fee.
Okay, great. Yeah, and Teresa put in a really good comment. I'll just read this out loud. The main distinction between a limited equity co-op, which is what you all are, versus a co-housing is that you purchase a share in the co-op ranging, like you said, from 10 to 30,000, depending on the size of the unit, and pay a monthly charge, which is your portion of the annual budget. You collectively own the property, not own your individual units. So that's really helpful.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, yeah, if you remember, or if there was a decision to do the co-op model versus privately owning your own dwellings, and how is that working for you?
Well, that decision was actually made by our founders back in the late 70s. So there's no one here to testify to that personally anymore. But we've carried on. One of our values is to provide affordable housing. So our units are less than half the market rate for our city.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And what is the monthly fee?
Again, depends on the size of the unit you occupy. I'm in a 1-bedroom and I'm paying about $750 a month, which is unheard of and on the open market.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
something
Teresa
else
had
that makes
said,
it nice is that if you want to change units, you have that option.
Yeah.
yeah, great. Sounds like a model that's really creating a lot of affordability and flexibility. Are there
Mhm.
any age restrictions in the community?
We're multi-generational, but for a long time it looked like we were just going to be seniors. And then we started attracting some younger couples, and now we have our first child in a while. So 8-year-old Avery is brightening up this place incredibly. She's giving us all energy.
Oh, I love that. Yay. Great. Okay. Let's see. A few more quick questions and then we'll move on. Are any of your units accessible to wheelchair access, that sort of thing?
Yes. Our
The
downstairs
yeah, the downstairs
are all,
units, right?
they're all
Gotcha.
accessible. So
Mhm.
there's what, about 9 units
Nice.
that are accessible.
Oh, great. And then somebody asks if it's okay to inquire, is there a mortgage on the property that's still being paid down?
There sure is, but it's
Mhm.
way down at this point in time.
Gotcha.
So we hope to pay it off within the next at maximum 20 years, but I think we'll pay it off in the next 10.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Yeah, beautiful. I think we covered most of the questions, and there might be more questions coming through. And so I would encourage you, Scout and Skibble, to keep your eye on the comment box and feel free to message with people there and answer more questions. Yeah, and I hope you'll stay on, of course, because after we go through all the presenters, then we'll have some wrap up together as a group. Thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, great. And now we're gonna now hear from a quite different, I think, community project, and one not in the United States, but over in Europe, in Serbia. And we have Vishna here with us to present about this emerging community project. I'm really curious to learn more.
Hi, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Kind
Just
of.
be sure to speak loudly and
Okay,
clearly. I think that'll help.
I will do my best. Okay. Well, hi everyone. Yes, okay. So this is our community, or rather, a community in the making. called, just pick the name. And it's basically a community for people who don't really fit the normal pattern. So it's a freedom-loving and sexually conscious community. So our emphasis is basically on, well, the aim of the community is to be self-sustainable, and our values in life are ahimsa, basically non-hurting other beings, not hurting each other, and affection exchange are main things that we share. Um, the emphasis is kind of a healing of past rejections. So it's kind of the way we see it is just a form of getting together, talking, and connecting with each other. And touch and intimacy, or rather not being afraid to connect, are really important to us.
Okay.
Um,
Vishnu, I'm just going to pause you for a moment. So there is a problem with your audio, unfortunately, and I apologize to everyone listening. We tried to troubleshoot the best we could, and it's just sort of the reality right now. Vishnu, I think it helps when you like speak a little bit more down into the receiver on your computer. Maybe that's helping. I know you're doing the best you can, and we can see the images and the words on the screen, and we'll try to catch what we can.
is everyone hearing the same?
Yeah, there's a lot of comments that they're not hearing you well.
Okay, so then I don't know what to say. I will try to show you some photos. This is a house that we built. Can you hear me at all?
We can hear you a little bit. Yeah. And
Cool.
like I say, I think it helps when you speak loud and as close to the computer as you can.
I will really be close to you. Okay, so this is the house that we built. It's on the edge of the forest, and we have orchards around. There are lots of walnuts and hazelnuts around, and apricot trees and all kinds of trees that we planted. So there's quite a bit of land. It's almost 3 hectares. So, and it's mostly under trees. It's already forested in the sense of orchards, and we have some garden space as well. I need some information. Can you hear me still?
It's coming in and out. I think we're able to get some of it. Yep.
Okay.
Keep going. I'm also what I hear. I'm going to put into the chat box so people can read as well.
Okay. So this is the interior. We cook mostly vegan and vegetarian food. Obviously, we don't grow the majority of our own food, but that is the goal one day. So, like I said, we're a community in the making. Yeah. For now, we've had many workshops on various topics. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Mm, oh, sorry. So, um,
Okay, it looks like your YouTube video is loading. Hmm.
so you can see kind of where we are. It's quite beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, we
And
can
we've
see.
had many yoga retreats and many
Nice. You have many
people
yoga
come during the
retreats.
season in summer. Um, um, okay. So the reason that I actually, it's just the reason that we joined this community, we're trying to form such a community, is that I don't believe that such a community exists today in this part of the world, or at least not in the way that we imagine, in the sense that there are no restrictions, in the sense of age, gender, or in the sense of using of alcohol, tobacco. It's just uh, people who enjoy life and enjoy freedom and enjoy expressing themselves in various ways. Um, so, our basically we don't have history, but the future is to have. We are building a second cabin. So the goal is to have more and more cabins around where people can come in for longer periods of time and stay there and work with us and land. And we can ideally expand our gardens, create greenhouses, and basically be more productive in terms of food and self-sustainability. Um, but for now, we have only this house that we built and another house in the village. Um, so people have these two locations to come and spend a few days, a couple of weeks with us, learning how to live uh, in, in your surroundings. And I spent a few years in India, so a lot of people come who are new to vegan cooking or vegetarian cooking. That is also very delicious and it's easy also to make. So a lot of people come for all kinds of workshops to learn how to make Ayurvedic soaps or Ayurvedic facial creams, uh, body care, creams, and all kinds of self care and self help products. Um, okay. Do you have any questions? I need also some feedback. Sorry.
Here, I'm just finishing typing in some of the things that I heard you say. And okay, and then let's see. I think you already answered this, but there's a question. Are there shared meals or other community events that you do as a community?
Yes, like I said, we don't have steady members. It is just two of us steady for now, but people do come on the weekends, and we have various workshops and various gatherings that are very casual. People come to just meet or to listen to some music or just discuss topics that are not usually discussed in everyday life.
Okay, great. Yeah, so looks like you don't have steady membership right now. There's two of you who are there maintaining the community, and then others join on the
Yeah,
weekends, and you have
yeah,
different events and workshops. I heard you say yoga, vegan cooking, music, sharing, this sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. You heard all that correctly. Yes.
Okay, okay,
We have
good.
lots of help from woofers as well, so it's been kind of a steady income of people that come and go. But it's really nice, and a lot of people do come back. But now we're building more cabin, more space for living, so that maybe more people can stay for longer periods of time. So it'll be more of a sense of a community than just kind of just a a get around place.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So you have woofers coming, which for those of you who don't know, stands for Worldwide Workers on Organic Farms. And it's a volunteer program where you can come and stay and help out in exchange for food and lodging. And your focus is on building more cabins so that you can have more people join on a longer term basis. Yeah, yeah. And this cabin, by the way, is beautiful. The photo that we're looking at, just really lovely, rustic. Did you build this one? Because you said you have one. Okay, this is what you built. And then you have another house in the village?
I don't have photos, and I just noticed that I cannot share my folder with you. I can just only share images. So all these photos that I had were unable to share for some reason.
Oh, no.
But I will try to get them to you sometime.
Okay.
But yes, it's really beautiful, beautiful here, and I don't know what I can see. Here is I'm trying to find the guidelines to introduce myself. So basically, is that and the reason why I joined community, I already said that we were looking for something that is kind of like this, very open-minded, and we haven't found that in Europe. Maybe you're more conservative than the U.S. But I studied in New York, in the United States, so there is a mentality. So we had a lot of people from Canada and U.S. also coming in. We really love them. Yeah. So that you'll, I guess, time to be more local. Um,
Okay. Okay, good. I think we caught some of that. I'm just typing it up. I'll put it in the in the chat. And yes, it would be great if you have more photos. We can include that in our follow-up with people. You can just send
And
that
we
to
don't
me.
have a strict membership process, so basically just we meet with people and we connect with them, or yeah, and then they come back and we do various things together and learn from each other. So it's kind of like not really a membership, but more like a friendship process.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you don't have a membership process right now. It's more of a friendship process. I love that term. And yeah, and open to people coming and staying. And there was a question, how many people would you like to have as members eventually?
It just depends how creative we are and how hard working we are. So I don't know, but maybe not more than 15 people. Probably then it becomes kind of big. It's like an organization. I'm not sure that we can handle that.
Okay, okay, right. So right now, staying with a maximum of 10 or 15 people, and yeah, keeping it smaller. Okay,
And
beautiful.
then, yeah, it really, we cannot say anything. It's just life brings you what it brings. But this is like the idea for now. It seems like that we have to land for. And, we have lots of walnuts, so basically we sell them as organic. Also, just plain fruits or other products made out of walnuts.
Ah, okay, you have many walnuts, which you turn into products and sell. And good, good. That's
And it's
great.
good for
Yeah, and
food.
it's good to stay open as to how things will evolve and to not have, big goals, but to keep it manageable and yeah, and open to the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, great. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much. I think we made this work with the audio, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
we'll follow up with you to get the photos.
thanks. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you, Vishna. Thank you so much. All the way from Serbia, joining in. I really appreciate that you were able to be with us. And now we're going to move from, okay, so we went from Santa Rosa Creek Commons, very well established from the 70s, to a new emerging community in Europe. And now we're going to go to yet again a different community project, this one located in San Francisco. And we have Zarina here with us. Zarina has been on FIC programs before. Always a pleasure to have you. And Eldridge is also joining with the Second Life project. And I am really curious to hear from you about the work that you've been doing. It seems really special and important.
Great, lovely. Can you see my, oh great, wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. So I'm going to just do a quick introduction, and then I'm going to sort of ask Eldridge questions, as Eldridge is the founding resident at Template. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk to you today about our sort of unique project of building intentional community in the wake of incarceration. And I first want to just do a quick land acknowledgement to acknowledge that we are based on Ohlone land, presently known as San Francisco. And I also want to acknowledge the many people and communities who've inspired this project, for those of us who are currently incarcerated, reincarcerated, and for those whose lives were lost waiting to come home. So a little bit about us. I've got Eldridge on the call with us today. Eldridge is a founding member of Template House and a crucial part of the Second Life project in general. And my name's Zarina Agnew, and I'm also part of Template and the Second Life project. So we're going to talk to you a bit today about Template House. Template is our second home in San Francisco for people coming out of incarceration. What's unusual about our houses is that they are half people coming out of prison and half not. So they're really sort of quite blended spaces. So we have about 50-50 mix in both of our houses. Template is a home that sits above two commercial spaces, which are used as community hubs and free spaces. And we actually have room at Template for 3 more people. So if you know people who are interested in moving to intentional communities in San Francisco, do get in touch. Our home is a radical all-volunteer community project that builds towards collective freedom. It's centered on the wisdom, goals, and visions of citizens who've been directly impacted by prisons, which is almost everybody in America. Okay, so I'm going to let Eldridge speak from their experience. And Eldridge, maybe if you want to just talk for 1 minute on each of these questions while I go through some images that people can see. Eldridge, do you want to share a little bit about why you joined this community?
Well, I have to admit that back in the 90s, back in the early 90s, when I got sent to prison, it was for something that I didn't do. And during my stint in prison, after taking numerous classes, self-help classes, becoming more self-aware, I was released, and I was released without no transition housing, no help from the state, because my case had been overturned and I didn't have no place to go. And a friend of my lawyers got in contact with Zarina and asked did they have a place for someone like myself to go to, and she said yes. And we came to San Francisco. I was invited to stay at Sigil House, which was another house in our community. And from there, this house was already being purchased. But while still at Sigil, I was asked to become a part of the community, in which I gladly accepted, went through the application process and was accepted. And then within about 3 weeks, we moved over to this new house, Template House, which is a very diverse community in a very diverse area. Like Zarina said, you got incarcerated and people who have never been incarcerated before. And it's a very beautiful place to be.
Great, wonderful. Yeah, is this your first night home, Eldridge?
Yes, that was my first night home, because my first night home, when I came and everybody was going out and they said, "You want to go?" I said, "Yes, where we going?" They said, "We're going to have Thai food." And we went to a Thai restaurant and I had some of the most delicious food I had in about 30 years. So it was really fun and exciting.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yeah, Eldridge, I wonder if you would be willing to share a little bit about, you've shared a bit about the history of Template, but maybe we could talk a bit about the future of Template and some of our goals, or some of your goals, let's say.
Well, the intent of the community is to build a community that will be sustained forever for people like myself who are formerly incarcerated to come out and have a place that is safe and secure where they can build meaningful lives. To give you an example, when I got out, I was unemployed, but I was able to get employed. And through my employment, I went from an ambassador to a supervisor. Now I'm an assistant director for homeless shelter here in San Francisco. And that's what these communities help. That's what this community has helped. It has given me a soft landing back into society where I can reintegrate back into society and become a productive member of society at the same time. With people who have been mentors, who have been guides, for those like myself who would get out of prison after long periods of time to integrate back into society. And one of my promises was that I was going to come out into society and help those who are less fortunate than myself. And that's why I'm in the field that I am, working with the homeless in San Francisco. And that's what this community is based on. Community helping those who are less fortunate, to be able to move forward and grow and succeed.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I should also add to that in our future goals. So Template House is a 1904 Victorian building on Haight Street. It's a historic building. And it was sort of bought for us in 2019. And so we've been running this community together, this sort of self-governed, self-determined community that is really wonderful for the last 4 years. And the building's due to be sold in the next year or so. And so we're rallying to transition Template into a community land trust. So we've just incorporated a nonprofit to serve as this community land trust. And so our hope is to not just build the kind of community that Eldridge has described to you, but also to sort of think about how we have legacy land projects that serve the communities sort of long beyond our lifetimes. So our hope is to do this for Template House, and then once we have one building, our hope is to keep going and to start transitioning pieces of land into community land trusts that serve this population, so that beyond our lifetime, this mission can continue. Okay, Eldridge, do you want to share for you what makes this community unique?
Well, what makes this community unique is the acceptance, the diversity, the people. Because I've always, since I've been here, we always talk about community, but for me, it's become more than community. It's become a family. It's built on love. It's built on trust. It's built on working together for something that is greater than ourselves. And I mean, before I've never experienced nothing like this, but since I've been here, I've experienced many more things. And it's something that I would like for other people to share in and be a part of, because this is what we want the world to be, a place that is open for anybody to come as you are and not to be judged, to be accepted for what you believe, not be rejected for it. Our community is a community of acceptance, of acknowledgement, of love, of sharing, of togetherness. That's what we're working on. That's what we're trying to build. And if we can start here start here to make the world a better place, where I'd rather be a part of the start to plant that seed, so this seed can grow. And once that plant grows, it sprout more seeds. As Serena says, we're trying to start here, build a community house here, and go forward and build other community houses to spread this far and wide.
Yeah, that's great. That's really wonderful. Thank you. Okay, and what does it look like to join? Eldridge, do you want to describe a little bit if somebody wanted to join Template House as a resident, as a long-term resident and steward, what that process looks like for people?
Well, that process is one, you have to go through the application process where first you get introduced to Serena. She lets the house know that there's someone who is applying to come stay with us, and what we do is we have phone interviews with them, and we have a Thursday night dinner. Either you come for the phone interview first, and then you can come to our Thursday night dinner where we sit and we talk, we eat, we laugh, and we ask questions, because this right here is an intentional community, and we want people who want to be a part of this community, who intend to be a part of this community, because it's just not about coming to live, it's about coming to be a part of the community, to represent the community, and that is volunteering, because we do a lot of the work on the house ourselves. We go out, and when we go out, we are representing Template House. We're representing the community as a whole. And once somebody comes in and they go through the application process, if we feel that they're a good fit, we say yes. The process is everybody has a vote. Everybody has a say in the intake process. So if someone disagrees, we sit down and we talk and we discuss, and we see what is it that they don't that they disagree with, and we talk to the person, the applicant, and see what changes they can be made to make them fit into the process. And once the changes are made, if they fit, they accept them to the house, and then they can come on and move in, become part of our family.
Great,
so
thank you.
It's a very easy and straightforward process once you get involved in it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're often asked, because of this community so unusual, we're often asked what it feels like to be in our houses. So I'm just going to show you a short video that I think captures some of the feeling. And I want to say that the music is performed by Kevin, written and performed by Kevin, who's one of our other residents. I'm just gonna, this is just a couple of minutes long, so I'm just gonna share this so you can get a feel for it. Let me see, tell me if you can't hear the audio. I think I've tried. We have so many amazing moments in our community. Does that work?
Yeah, it works. It sounds
Okay,
good.
great.
Yay.
Okay. Let me see if I can. We have so many amazing moments in our community, and I often wish that we had more of a window in for people so they can see.
Now I know you got your reasons for why you've been hurting so long in your life. You're searching for meaning, oh, but sometimes you just gotta move along. Oh, and I want you to know, baby, I'm gonna take it slow, 'cause I'm so crazy in love with you, baby. Sometimes I don't know if I should even breathe. Don't wanna scare you, tell you, oh girl, I need you to believe.
Real quick, community has been nothing short of amazing, and that's what it truly has been, because it has been a place that's open, welcoming, loving, caring, supportive, instructive. It has guided me. It has shown me. It has shared. You know, it has devoted time and resources. It has done everything to help me succeed.
And I want you to know and understand, girl, I never felt this way as a man, 'cause I am so crazy. Sometimes I don't know how to leave. Don't want to stay.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh, girl, I need you to believe. Yes, I am so crazy. Loving you, baby.
okay, so that's what it feels like. It feels like very joyous and magical. So I just want to take a second to share some of other, this community is built with so many people who have just shown the most incredible imagination and openness to building unusual lives together. There's so many people that have made this possible and aren't here, and they're all extraordinary people. And I think it's really, for me, had this like extraordinary impact of seeing that people are willing to try living differently, and the sort of like absolute magic that comes from that. Just to touch on the sort of fact that our houses, we have 2 houses, Template and Sigil, but our houses actually have a much broader community. And so this is a terrible drawing that I tried to do to try and capture some of the ways in which, people who don't live in our houses also participate in various things, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or our emotional support circles or potluck dinners. And, the buildings that we live in are just one part of a much broader community. I did want to make some offerings. We have a handbook. If anybody is interested in setting something like this up where you are, we'd be happy to help you. I've done it a few times now, and I'd be very, very excited to support anyone who wants to try and do something in your local area. We have potluck dinners at our house every Thursday. If anyone's in San Francisco, please come by. You can follow us on Instagram. We are trying to set up this community land trust. And so an ask perhaps is that if you know someone who's interested in just land transitions or prison reform or anything like that, get in touch. We'd love to chat with them. And just thank you so much for being here and listening to us.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Amazing, amazing. Yes. And if you could put, Zarina, the link especially to that your offerings around that handbook. I'm so curious about that, and also the opportunity to support the transition to being a community land trust. Also exciting. Yeah, very good. Oh, wow. Oh, what a touching. I love that video. It's very, very sweet. So powerful what you're doing. Thank you for that work. I'm just really happy to know that your community exists and you want to help start more communities like this. It really feels part of what's needed at this time. Yeah. Gosh, and I'm curious, Zarina, for you, what is your role there at the community now?
I don't know. That's a really hard question to answer. I don't know. Elder, do you want to have a go?
Yeah, she's everything. That's what she is. She's everything. She's the glue that that holds everything together. I mean, Zarina is very passionate about Second Life, about community building, and without Zarina, I do not know where we would be. You know, it's just, she's put so much sweat, equity into this, blood, sweat, tears. I mean, we all owe Zarina a debt of gratitude because she has been the sustaining part of this community. I mean, and I can't say it enough. I really can't.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you know, like I think probably my role is mostly in creating the imagination space, and I think it's something I'd really encourage others to do. You know, sometimes it feels like it's impossible to do things in this world, and when someone just sort of says, well, hey, I'm just going to try, and it can start small, then I think that can be meaningful. But really it is, what do I do at the house? I sort of do a lot of like, so I'm in touch with a lot of people who are currently in prison, currently incarcerated, and I spend about a year or two getting to know them and trying to help them go in front of the parole board. And so that there's a sort of pipeline out, and I do a lot of cleaning toilets.
Wow, you really do everything. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, so good. Well, yeah, big thanks, and yeah, just sending the vibes of appreciation your way, Zarina, for everything you do, toilets and beyond. Oh. All right, and we have a few questions from the audience, and would encourage more questions if there are any. Is the number of residents small intentionally?
No, actually, it's a sort of hangover from COVID. We decided it was sort of like not really ethical to ramp up residents during the pandemic, and so we kept it quite low. But we have a number of resident spots open, and so we'll probably get to like 8 or 9. But we'd love a bigger building. We've been talking about that for a long time, about having something much larger. And so no, it's not intentionally small, it's just the limitation of the building.
Gotcha. Okay. And then somebody had asked, is it possible to get the details on joining the Thursday potluck?
Oh yeah, I can. If you follow us on Instagram, you can message us there. But yeah, Thursday, 7 p.m. we have family dinner, which is tonight, if anyone wants to come by. Yeah, we'd love to have people over. We love having visitors. One thing I should also add is that we have a little guest program. And so we have people come and stay, and that's really a magical experience for people. I think it's hard for them to imagine what it's like to come and stay in a home built by formerly incarcerated people, and I can tell you it's really magical. And we do have guest spots if anyone wants to come and stay.
Very cool. Okay, great. Yeah, and I had shared across all our channels the link to your Instagram earlier, so that should be in the comments. And yeah, that would be really nifty if somebody went from this event over to your potluck today. All right. And then, yeah, let me see. I think we have time for a little bit more. There are some questions, Zarina, for you, if you feel comfortable sharing. How did you get involved in this area of looking at communal living and for the formerly incarcerated, especially?
Yeah, so I've been living in intentional community for a long time, about 12 years, and have also become really interested in building federations and ecosystems of intentional communities. So I come from that space, and not only has it been transformative for me, but I really see the transformative potential of these sort of self-determined spaces. How did I get involved with prisons? Well, it's a funny story. I used to run a lecture series, and one of the lectures once was on the history of the California prison system. And in the Q&A, I realized I realized that 3 of the people in the audience were formerly incarcerated and had just come out of prison. And so we got chatting at the end of the event, and I was saying, what do you need? And they said, we haven't got any space to be and just hang out. And I said, well, I'm part of the intentional communities. We've got tons of space. Why don't you come and hang out? We'll do a potluck. We'll do Dungeons and Dragons. And so we became friends. And then over the next year and a half, we all got very close. And then one day they said to me, we want to live in an intentional community like you. And I was like, oh gosh, okay. And so then we spent the next year trying to build an intentional community for people coming out of prison. I mean, they could have joined the community that I live in, but there's parole conditions that make it tricky. And it took us about a year and a half to get our first one set up. But, the thing I really want to emphasize is this is really about building relationships in a world in which we're so siloed from each other and so segregated. And that, my overall experience is that if you just put people in a room together, cooking dinner together, people form the kinds of bonds and kinship relationships that make building intentional communities and home seem like a seamless experience. And I'm not like special or anything. Any of us can do this. And if anyone's interested, and for whatever community you feel like is missing from your world, it might not be people coming out of prison. It might be some other community. We can build lives together. And yeah, I hope that we all do that more.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your work. I feel like there's more to learn from you, and I'll probably be following up with you in an email about having you come on for a longer conversation. So yeah, all right, great. Yes, love all those comments. Yes, we have a cat. Great. All right, good. All right, so that was all of our presentations. And now we get to spend some time wrapping up together. Thank you to all of our audience who's been listening. Thank you for your really good questions. If you have a question that you would like me to ask all of our presenters, feel free to put that in the comments. I think something that I'm sitting with, especially in light of our new program for community founders, which I'll put the link into the chat for that, about the program to support, especially founders more in the early stage of developing a community. One of the things that is standing out to me from each of your presentations is that what each of you are doing, whether you're pioneering a new community or continuing to maintain and grow and foster the next generation of an existing community, is that it really takes a lot of vision and heart and hard work to do something that's different than the mainstream. Zarina, I wrote down what you said, building unusual lives together. I really like that. And it really is unusual. It's like, and it shouldn't be, but it is. And I wonder if you each maybe want to find some words to speak to that, to speak about, what it takes to do something different than the ordinary and why that is important at this time. So feel free, popcorn style, and you can pass if you want. But if anyone has something they'd like to share, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and share.
I'd like to say that living in an intentional community means living intentionally yourself. And it's also a built-in way to make friends. I've really enjoyed getting to know the people who live here, grieving the people who've left, or we've had people who got old and died here. The diversity is strong in this community, and that's something that also really attracts me. And we definitely have a lot of old white ladies, and we also have a lot of other people, several Chicana families, some Asian people. We've had people of all kinds of color living in our community, and we really are open and welcome to that. Sybil, can you add more to why it's why being here is so great.
Well, I guess one thing I do want to share too is just the emotional support when people go through challenging times. That
Mhm.
there are people here to help and be supportive when people get sick. Especially in our communities, we have quite a few older people and with families not close, and so I just feel the emotional support is a big component of living in
Mhm.
community.
Wow.
I would like to say I'm not going to get this right, but there's a quote that I've seen, and the quote goes is that trying to build a community that we do not know yet, that does not yet exist, and that's um, a community that I got that quote from Zarina because I've seen it before, but that is what we're trying to build in this intentional community is build something that doesn't exist in the wider world. The coming together of people, from all sectors, all cultures, all backgrounds, coming together for a common goal of peace and love, joy and happiness.
Mhm.
That's what this is all about, and when you join an intentional community, this is what it is. This is what we're trying to build. We're leading by example, giving the example of what could be if you let it be.
Mhm.
Because, like Zelina said, you get enough people in a room together. Those things that we believe keep us apart would be the very things that bring us together if the space is made available for that to happen. And that's what these spaces create, that space for people to come together and tear down those barriers, tear down those walls to
Mhm.
build a bigger, broader family.
Yep.
Oh, yes, yes. Beautifully said, Aldridge. I love your way of speaking about community and its importance. It's beautiful. Thank you. Mm. All right. And then Zarina or Vishna, anything to add?
You want to go first? Well, I can chime in. Maybe. Did you want to say something, Vishna?
No.
Yeah, I think for me, I think, we live in such a world of alienation from each other that sometimes I think we've forgotten even how to be together. And intentional communities for me are just the beginning, right? It is the creation of the fertile soil in which incredible things can grow. And we don't really know what kinds of things are going to grow when we make the soil fertile. And it's obviously there's weeds and difficulties and what have you, but I think building intentional community, thinking about who's missing and why they're missing, thinking about an intentional community as a mode of undoing some of the segregation and building some of the kinship we need for true solidarity, can not only be a personally, socially, and emotionally incredible experience, but it's also politically and socioeconomically transformative. And so I think intentional community for me is, it's not just housing, it's home. It's not just home, but it's a practice, and it becomes something transformative when we all lean in to do that together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Intentional community. It's not just housing, it's a home. It's not just home, it's a practice. Love that. Oh, beautiful. Okay. I feel like we have a lot of wisdom in the room. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh, and Evan, Cynthia, how do I post FIC about our own small intentional community? Yeah, so you can freely list your directory on the ic.org website. It's doesn't cost anything to do it. You have to fill out a bit of a form, and here I'll put that link directly into the chat here. And we also, we're very much inviting communities to come and present with us. Would love to have you. Here, let me see if I can get this presenter form up on the website to share with you. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and essentially if you fill out this sign up form, then I'll be in touch with you to get you into the queue for an upcoming month. And we do this event on the first Thursday of every month. And every month is 3 different communities. I do my best to try to have them be more of a theme. This month was just an array, and sometimes that happens, and that's cool too, because we get to see the diversity. And you can register to join this event through the ic.org events page. If you're part of our community finder circle, you're automatically enrolled. And we are now live streaming across a bunch of different platforms, so you can watch it that way. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for the work that you're doing out there in the world. I'm definitely taking a lot of inspiration and motivation with me from this. So thank you for that. And best of luck with all your community endeavors.
Thanks, Cynthia. This is great.
Yeah. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.